Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, people of all ages, welcome to Debate Crypto in a world where hopium collides with common sense, starring your hosts, the Crypto Keeper, that's me, and the one and only Blockchain Crusader, that is Miguel. How we doing, Miguel?
I'm doing good, man. How are you?
Doing well, man. What do we have scheduled for the podium today?
We got Gary Gensler. We got some news coming out from him. We got Shaq on the news today talking about cryptocurrency, and at the end, we're gonna wrap it up with Brian Armstrong and Coinbase.
Heck yeah, let's read between the lines, brother. Lace up your running shoes. It is time to sprint. Let's get after it. All right. Where are we going to start off here, Miguel? We're going to start off with
Let's start off with the first
Gary.
one. Gary.
All right.
Bring him up onto the table over here.
Yep.
Give me boom. Here we are.
All right. Before Senate, Chair Gensler will argue that many crypto trading platforms need to register with the SEC. Gary Gensler, chairman of the Securities and Exchange Commission, will appear before a Senate committee Tuesday, where he plans to reiterate his belief that many major cryptocurrency exchanges need to register as securities exchanges. In opening remarks released by the Senate Banking Committee, Gensler says, many platforms have dozens or hundreds of tokens on them. While each token's legal status depends on its own facts and circumstances, the probability is quite remote that with 50, 100, or 1,000 tokens, any given platform has zero securities. Make no mistake, to the extent that there are securities on these trading platforms, under our laws, they have to register with the commission unless they qualify for an exemption. Miguel, let's jump on that real quick, and then we can keep going from there. I've got one other thing I want to point out, but let me start on this. So, Gary Gensler, chairman of the SEC, right? The wording that they use in this, it's amazing to me, right? Many platforms have dozens or hundreds of tokens on them. While each token's legal status depends on its own facts and circumstances, the probability is quite remote. So let me get this straight. You're just looking at, hey, they've got a whole bunch of different tokens on here. They've got so many different projects going on. Well, it's very probable that, they've got to have, some of them have got to be securities, right? It's just it's a numbers game. It's like, it might be a security. And get out of here. This is not about being a numbers game. Is it a security or is it not? You don't want to take the time to dig in and actually dig your heels in and do work. You want to say, hey, there's probably some securities on here. The other part of this problem that I have with this is that the moment, and I really believe this, the moment that one of these platforms registers with the SEC, as it relates to them having securities, guess what? They just opened every single project on there for the basically legal possibility that, hey, am I the security? Are you the security? Who's the security? Well, then the SEC can say, wait a minute, you put yourself on a platform that is registered with the Securities and Exchange Commission. So did you not think that you were a security? You had to have thought. So then all of a sudden it becomes like an open-ended, like, hey, you had to have known something. You jumped on the platform that's registered with us. Thoughts, Miguel?
Yeah, man. My thoughts are that exactly. It's a scapegoat tactic, right? Of saying, hey, we don't want to research any of this stuff, and we're just gonna say blanket. Everybody's got to be a security. If you want to be an exchange, you have to be security. But the biggest thing besides that, I believe, is they're coming after decentralized exchanges, right? Because they won't be able to register as a securities exchange, and they're going to have a way bigger issue being able to track all these customers, right? Who's on there, who's not on there. They're not going to be able to really do KYC, and all these things are going to affect decentralized exchange. So when you're reading in between the lines and they're talking about all exchanges having to be registered as securities exchange, I think they're attacking decentralized exchanges. That's why we're seeing them investigating now Uniswap.
Yeah. Yeah, no doubt. And then let me touch on this last part on here. That's a great point, Miguel. They are absolutely coming after all of these exchanges, or at least they want to make it look like they are, and they've got their little pet pals and favorites.
Yeah,
So we'll see
fear tactics, bro. Fear tactics to clear out the competition.
Yeah, no doubt. To this point, Gensler's remarks note, right now, large parts of the field of crypto are sitting astride of not operating within regulatory frameworks that protect investors and consumers, guard against illicit activity, and ensure for financial stability. Let me ask you a question, Miguel. Okay, the frameworks protect investors and consumers. First of all, my first question to you is, Miguel, are they worried about regulatory framework just so that they can protect their investors and consumers?
100% no.
No.
They don't care about protecting people, right? They only care about, hey, if you're making money, we want our slice of the pie. We want, be able to see you making that money and be like, at the end of the year, pay up, buddy. Give me those capital gains, right? Because when you're losing money, they're not like, oh, we're so sorry that you lost. Let me give you some money back, right? So they don't care about people. They want to make sure. Go ahead.
What did you say?
I was just gonna say that what they're focusing on is making sure that the only people that are safe to invest are the elite, right? Are the people with the money. They don't want us regular folk jumping in there and doing life-changing things with our money. They want to make sure that only qualified investors are available to do certain things.
Yep. The second part is it literally specifically says that guards against illicit activity. Listen, okay. They've went after this one for a long time. Okay, let's be fair. Okay, I have a past. We don't need to get into that. But let me tell you, the last thing you want to do when you now, albeit the Silk Road existed, right? But
Yes.
they just needed an easy way to transact. They knew that they were operating on a public blockchain, and it was not that well known at that point. Right now,
Yep.
crypto is becoming more and more mainstream. Okay, the thought that you are going to operate and run an enterprise on illicit activities with a blockchain that is on a public ledger. Literally, guys, you are basically everything you do when you take money and send money is saying, "Hey, here I am. Here, this money went here. Here, this went here. Here, this Bitcoin went here. Here, this went here." Why would you do that? Let's talk about who really and what really gets used when it comes to illicit activities. Your good old dollar, right?
Yeah.
The US dollar is the number one most traded currency in the world for illicit activities, money laundering, child trafficking, any other weird sex stuff, whatever the case may be. It's the US dollar. And why is it the US dollar? Because you can't genuinely track it. And so I have a real problem with them throwing this out there like as if this is what they're worried about. They're worried about illicit activities. You're not worried about illicit activities. You're worried about being able to track and come after your money when it's your time to get paid. And the last part here, Miguel, I'll let you talk on this. And then ensure for financial stability. I just want to say one thing. Was there any financial stability in the stock market in 2008 when the whole thing crashed? Were they protecting anybody at all?
Absolutely not. Except for the
they were
banks.
protecting somebody. They were protecting the daggone banks.
Yeah, exactly right. Like anyone that has seen the Wolf on Wall Street movie, it's a perfect example, right? It's an exaggerated example. It doesn't happen every day, but it's the perfect example of the illegal activities that happen in the stock exchange, right? These huge hedge funds that run on there trading, and they're the financial advisors, right? They're the ones that can give all this legal advice and do all these things. And you see them bribing people. You see them doing all kinds of insider trading, washing money, having, their rat holes all over the place. So why are they talking about cryptocurrencies? Like if cryptocurrencies is going to do anything illegal, if it is going to do anything illegal, it's nothing new aside from the stock market. The only difference is they don't have their hand in the cookie jar yet. So they want to make sure they have their hand in the cookie jar, be able to control it and see who gets in, who gets out, say, okay, we're running the cookie jar and now it's time to pay up. And then all these illegal activities, all these worries about it will disappear because they're running the show and they're the ones making the money in the background.
I couldn't agree with you more. Dude. So let's click over to the next one here. Headline is Shaq says, now that's right, Shaquille O'Neal, your boy, 7'2", Shaquille O'Neal.
Click
Shaq
over to
says,
it.
What'd you say?
You're not sharing the page. Click over to it.
I've got it pulled up. You can't see it?
No, we're still on the Gary Gensler page.
Oh, I have to actually stop screen sharing and then open it back up. Oh, yes, I didn't realize I had to do that. My bad. Here
in the meantime, guys,
boom,
let's smash the likes. Everybody watching on TikTok, jump on over to YouTube Live and Twitch. Drop your questions, drop your comments, and we will answer them as well. We will engage with you guys here on YouTube. But let's smash that like button.
Yeah, TikTok. We will jump on over to Debate Crypto. You can see it right above my head on the screen there if you're on TikTok, and we will be answering questions at the end of this. So jump on over. This is an episode of Read Between the Lines or Between the Lines. So Shaq says he won't invest in crypto until he understands it. Despite the growing number of pro basketball players and NBA executives who embrace crypto assets, legendary baller Shaquille O'Neal says he has not invested a part of his estimated net worth of $400 million in crypto and will probably keep his distance from them until he gets a grasp of how blockchain technology works. I don't understand it, O'Neal told CNBC, so I will probably stay away from it until I get a full understanding of what it is. Miguel, first thoughts on this?
So yeah, dude, my first thoughts is they're already part of the club, right? They don't need to make life-changing money. They've already made it. They don't need to take on any more risk. They want the safest thing that doesn't disrupt anything, right? They're already part of the VIP club, and crypto, as we know it, is that revolution, right? It's a movement to independencies us, retake power for the average person. Shaq, like any other celebrity, is not an average person anymore and is, well connected and has businesses that run on the system. So therefore, they're not going to take any unnecessary risk that is not given by some type of authority, right? And then that's what they find as safe. Whatever a figurehead authority tells them is safe and it's not.
Yeah, I think it's funny. How much. So when CNBC prints this out, right, they understand that Shaquille O'Neal he's funny. He is he's a funny dude, right? And he's very well liked and he's worth a ton of money. And so anyone that just reads the news for face value, they look at it and they say, wait a minute. You've got
Shaq doesn't want it
as $400 million and he's not even going to invest something into crypto. Let me read this next part. It says, every time, this is another thing that he says, right? Every time someone tells me one of those greats, let me back up. The former Los Angeles Laker player recognizes that numerous athletes have entered into partnerships with crypto-focused businesses or invested their own assets in crypto. But the success stories do little to push Shaq to venture into the industry. Quote, every time someone tells me one of these great stories, I like it. But from my experience, it is too good to be true, he is quoted as saying. And then it goes on further into the article and it talks about some people who have, made a lot of money in crypto. And I guess my problem with this is you can switch it back over, Miguel. I don't know how you have it set up, but my problem with this is this isn't about anything. This article is is essentially a nothing article. So reading between the lines on this article is very simple. It's saying, hey, we needed to fill some space here. And we were told by one of the higher ups to maintain a little bit of the fear presence as it relates to crypto. So why don't we find a big name? Why don't we find a big name that ultimately people love, and let's find somebody that's going to say something a little different. Let's find somebody that's not already making a ton of money in crypto. Let's find somebody who, at the end of the day, is a little bit just nervous about crypto.
Yes.
Because That speaks more to our narrative that you need to be careful before you invest in crypto. And ultimately, what I truly believe, the reason that they're doing that right now is because they are trying to keep these prices down for just a little bit longer right now. I think we are on the cusp of a breakout right now. It is what, September 13th, Miguel?
Yes.
It's September 13th, 2021. I think we are on the cusp of a breakout. I think the dip this morning might be one of, if not the last little dips before we moon, right? Before we take off. And I think they want to hold it down a little bit longer. So let's put out as many just little fuddy articles as we can. What do you think?
I completely agree. And I want to show this comment here from Patrick O'Donnell. So he says, in reality, I don't think that's a bad idea. Understanding what you invest in is key. Yes, but that's not what the article is trying to tell you. What the article is trying to tell you is let's find a face that's very memorable. Everybody knows and understands. Lovable guy. He makes, movies that are full of comedy, famous basketball player, and come out and say, hey, I don't think crypto's a good idea. Like he said, right? I hear lots of stories of people making money and I like it. But you know what? I'm still going to stay away from it. I'm still not going to be part of it. It's trying to, change you psychologically to say, hey, if this guy is as successful as he is not willing to jump into crypto and take that risk when he's able to afford taking the risk, then I myself will not jump in there and take the risk when, I don't have as much money as Shaq to invest. And if I lose it, I lose it. And it pushes people away from crypto and keeps people doubting crypto.
Yeah, no doubt. It's we're sharing the story because it's a no story. It is a space filler. It is just saying, hey, here's somebody who has some reservations about crypto and he is freaking.
Why are they not making more One Piece's interviews about people that are making money in crypto, right? People like, let's say, Crypto Weatherman, let's say Crypto Mason, you, I, a bunch of people that we know that making a ton more money than we are in crypto. Why aren't they making a One Piece off them? Say, hey, this guy, a nobody, right? Yep. Did his research, invested into legit projects that were doing this, and this, and look at them now, 2-3 years later, have made life-changing money. They don't put that narrative out there because they don't want people getting that, oh, wait, I can do something outside of the legacy system that can make me life-changing money. Financial independence. I no longer have to be a financial slave to these people. They don't want that.
And actually, at the end of the article, I don't have it pulled up anymore, but at the end of the article, it talks about almost like an aside. It's like, oh yeah, by the way, there's a number of people that actually did make money on crypto and have taken part of it in their salary and whatever. And the point in all of this is, what was the headline? People read headlines. Have you listen?
Yes.
You can't tell me
people don't read the articles anymore.
You can't tell me you don't know 1,000 people on Facebook, on any of these social media platforms that literally read a headline and then all of a sudden they're running with it. Did you hear about this? And then, what?
They hit share. They see the headline, boom, share it on Facebook. Boom,
share. Haven't even read it.
Don't even know what it says. Just headline and picture. Boom. That tells me everything I need to know.
No idea what it says, but the headline says it all. And so that's, I guess, what we're getting at is, yes. And actually, Patrick said he isn't saying he never will, though, just not until he understands it. Here is one last thing I want to say about this. Let me ask, does anyone in the chat think that they could come on here and truly tell me that they understand cryptocurrency inside and out, what they're investing in? I promise you, I could probably pick apart every single person in this chat as to whether they truly know the assets they are invested in. Even myself, if Miguel had basically a white paper open or had some of the technical back ends open to some of the projects that I'm invested in, and he started drilling me with questions, listen, I'm going to be able to answer quite a few of them because I'm just buried in this space. But there's also a lot of things that I'm not going to be able to answer, right? And so we don't need to listen, I always talk about this. I always think that you should understand what you're investing in. But as far as truly understanding all of the technicals that go along with it, guys, you've got to get in, you've got to play some ball to be able to take that next step in learning more and more and more and more. And you will learn more when you have taken a step towards learning and invested in yourself and then taken that next step. So I think the article, is headlined the way it is for a reason. just like any other article. You're muted, Miguel.
Oh, I just want to take the chance to say, guys, thank you for watching. Keep smashing that like button and do not forget to subscribe. We're seeing newer people here every day, and we see people coming in and out. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. It helps us out to push all this content and motivates us to keep on going.
Amen. Amen. Thank you guys for being here. We truly appreciate it. TikTok, come over and subscribe. We see you. We see you. All right, next up. Coinbase intends to offer $1.5 billion of senior notes in private offering. Crypto exchange Coinbase today announced its intention to offer $1.5 billion of its senior notes due in 2028 and 2031 in a private offering. The notes will be guaranteed by Coinbase Inc. Senior notes are a type of debt-based security akin to a bond, but are repaid first in case of a bankruptcy. The capital raise represents an opportunity to bolster our already strong balance sheet with low-cost capital, Coinbase said in a prepared statement. Coinbase intends to use the net proceeds from the offering for general corporate purposes, which may include continued investments in product development, as well as potential investments in or acquisitions of other companies, products, or technologies that Coinbase may identify in the future, the exchange added. The notes themselves will only be made available to persons reasonably believed to be qualified institutional buyers, per the United States Securities Act of 1933. Let me start off real quick here and say the capital raise represents an opportunity to bolster our already strong balance sheet with low-cost capital, Coinbase said. Listen, Coinbase is already fluid. They are liquid and they have the dollars, right? They intend to use these net proceeds from the offering for, let's call it what it is. They're going to be using this money for investments. It is literally the same exact thing. And I'm not talking trash about Coinbase because I love Coinbase. I hate the fees, but they ultimately are going to be using this to do the same thing that your bank does. These note offerings are given to these institutional buyers, and they're saying, hey, look, by the way, we're basically at a local bottom. We need to buy a whole lot more Bitcoin. We need to buy a lot more ETH. We need to buy, and we need to actually buy out some other companies. $1.5 billion will get you quite a buy. And I think that it ultimately is saying one thing. We are bullish on the space as a whole, and we are going to continue to buy. And this is an example, Miguel, and then I'll let you hit on it, of swim with the whales.
Yes, 100%. I believe that, right? I believe that they're getting ready, whether this is a local top or this is going to be they're just getting prepared for they're getting prepared for the bear market, right? And what's better way than to raise capital to get ready to buy up these assets on the cheap, right? And then at the same time, they're going to be able to lend them out, right? And make money on the APY. I think this right here, if you read between the lines, shows you that even though the SEC is coming after Coinbase, right? Trying to put that fear into people from the lending product side. I think it just shows you that Coinbase is now worried about it, and that Coinbase knows they're the chosen one. They're going to continue to make money, and they're just going to continue expanding. And they're just saying, hey, by the way, let's just start raising more capital because this SEC thing is not an issue.
Yeah, at the end of the day, I heard Ben on BitBoy Crypto call him Uncle Brian, talking about Gary Gensler and Brian Armstrong, basically calling him Uncle Brian. And I think it's really funny because at the end of the day, hold on a second, I got to pass off the
no worries.
Guys, how could you? I mean, what else can you say here? That is perfection, right? I make and my wife makes a beautiful baby. Here you go. Sorry about that. Okay, so he is Uncle Brian, though, right? I mean, yep. I genuinely believe, and again, I heard this elsewhere, and I started to process and think about it. He is, I believe, in bed with the SEC. I think the main purpose of this, is to headline and say, "Hey, excuse my way for saying this, but I won't even say it bad. You better not mess with us." Because in terms of the SEC, I think the SEC, the little stuff that's going on there, like Coinbase is the chosen one. They are now bringing in more capital and offering it only to the big dogs, right? Yep. And they're basically saying, hey, we've got an opportunity for a bunch of you to be in on the on the good guys team. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly right. They're lending money. They're raising money from these guys, right? These private investors that are going to get in on the back door of Coinbase, right? They're getting indirect access to a money making machine, which is Coinbase, and they're saying not anybody can go in there. Only these qualified investors can go in. Yet, what we were talking about in the article said that even if they were to go bankrupt, right, that debt that they're raising would be the first debt that needs to be paid. So if there's such low risk, why don't they just crowdsource the money from average investors? Why is it only from, heavy big guy investors? They're trying to get access to crypto without even being directly on it and having a money making machine and just staying within that VIP group, because that's what it's always about, staying within a small tight group of people.
Be part of the clan, be part of the clique, right? And then the other part is, I'll tell you another thing, is that the reason that they are not accepting any money from you or me, right, is because the securities laws, they pertain to me. And right now, with the posturing that's going on, they need to act as if they believe, hey, we might be selling securities. And that's just a play. That's a posture to say, hey, look, you guys, we really need to be.
We need to protect you.
Yes.
We need to protect you.
And literally right behind me right now, if I was Brian Armstrong, my lower back is getting like massaged by Gary Gensler right now, and like just kind of rubbing. And I'm like, hey, a little bit higher. Okay, thanks, right there. And I do. I think it is all a big load of.
Look, Jeff Weber brought up a good point here. I said, do you think people really know what stocks they invest in?
No.
Right. And they're not worried about people investing in these really sketchy penny stocks, right? That just disappear overnight, do kinds of all sketchy stuff. They're not worried about that. Yeah, they're so worried about crypto. Crypto is so bad for you, right?
It's crypto
crypto is so dangerous. It can destroy your life. Yet these penny stocks and these sketchy companies on there can't. They will never do such a thing because they get the permission from us.
That's
versus these cryptos don't have permission from anybody. They're not paying up their slice of the pie to be part of the party, and they don't like that. And that's
they're not the in crowd yet. They didn't pay to play, right? Mm-hmm. And a lot of these, when you look deeper and deeper into these huge tech companies, and it spills over into politics as well. It is pay to play. And ultimately, if you're not going to pay to play, you're gonna have some trouble on your hands. That's part of why XRP on the front end had some heat going on, right? And now Coinbase is being used like as a puppet and saying, hey, look, you're the biggest, right? When really they're just the chosen one. They're actually not the biggest. I think Binance technically is, and
Binance is way bigger.
Well, FTX is well on its way.
Mm-hmm.
But ultimately, they are being used as a puppet, to say, hey, guys, you need to follow and do what I do because, my nephew or my uncle, however you want to look at it, Gary Gensler, right, of the SEC, says that you need to do this. This is how you need to act. This is how you need to react. And you need to jump on board and continue to do what we say.
Yeah, 100%. It's always about a matter of control and being the in crowd, being the one running the show, and they don't like crypto for that one main reason. They can't control it, they can't run it, so they're trying to suppress it in any way possible through any FUD article, whether it's Shaq saying he doesn't understand it, so he's just gonna put his hands up about it, right? He can hire tons of people, right, and pay them a pretty penny to tell me, hey, what are the best cryptos to be buying right now? Find the best financial advisors and tell them, hey, your whole purpose, your whole career right now is going to be focusing on crypto and telling me which ones to buy. Why wouldn't he do something like that, right? Why wouldn't somebody with so much money and resources do something? So it's all about the in crowd. And if he wants to continue being part of that crowd, he can't come out and step out of line and start shooting the other narrative, right? Just how same thing happened with Elon. Elon said, hey, I'm part of this crowd, but you know what? I also like crypto. And I'm gonna start pushing it. The minute that happened, the government knocked on his door and said, "Hey, remember those carbon credits? Yeah, ease off of it, bro. Take a few steps back and sit back down on the bench, and shut down Bitcoin, shut down the whole scenario, got complete change of mind. And then towards the end of the summer, came back and was like, yeah, it's not as dangerous for the environment as we thought it was. Things are changing. It's because they're letting him off the leash again. They're like, hey, okay, you can talk again.
I always love the mashups, and we'll answer the last couple questions that are up here. I think I see one that just came in, but I always love the mashups where you see something they say and it has a date on it, and you watch what they say, and then literally it can be days, weeks, months, or a year later, and then all of a sudden they are literally with conviction saying the exact opposite, right? If I told you something that I was convicted of, that I don't want to say it like that. If I told you something with conviction, right? Yeah. And I told you that I believe, I'll tell you right now, I believe in ETH over the long haul. I believe it's going to continue to get built on. I feel like they're going to work out some of these gas fees, and it is going to continue to be a success, point blank, period, right? Yes. And then boom, shoot forward to a year from now. Let's say something goes sideways, and I'm like, listen, guys, I told you all along that I did not believe in it. Literally, you can see these things side by side, and they're exact opposites. It's what is the current landscape look like, and what do I need to say to look best in this situation right now? And maybe nobody will notice.
Look, Kevin O'Leary is one of the best examples for that too. A few years ago, Bitcoin, Ethereum, awesome. Shortly after that, they were like, hey, you're stepping out of line, buddy. Get back on the bench. He was like, oh, total crap coins. They're all crap. They're going nowhere. They're dead. They're dead to me, right? What happened a few years after that? Now he's like, oh yeah, I'm growing my portfolio slowly from 5% to 7% on Bitcoin and Ethereum because that's where it's at. And yada, yada, yada. What happened, bro? What happened? What changed in your life, right? What fundamentals have changed so drastically that you went from a believer to a skeptic to now a believer again?
There was a news article. Actually, I'm about to pull it up right now. Hold on one second.
And Mark Cuban's done the same thing too. Mark Cuban's come out talking trash about Ethereum and talking trash about Bitcoin. Yeah, he comes out and supports Dogecoin. And then he's like, oh, by the way, I'm on the NFT hype right now. So Ethereum is where it's at. So it's all about looking good at the moment that something is trending for them.
Check it out. Share my screen. Ethereum is too slow, says business mogul Kevin O'Leary. Now, I have not looked into this yet, but let's just jump on this real quick to end the show. Shark Tank star Kevin O'Leary slammed Ethereum during his recent appearance on CNBC, pointing to the second largest blockchain scaling problems. O'Leary predicts that competing blockchains will end up challenging its dominance. Pause. There is a narrative going on right now that says that Solana is going to take over Ethereum. Cardano is going to take Ethereum's place. Both of these blockchains, right? Mm-hmm. Solana, from my understanding, is one of the chosen ones that is not that is not like decentralized the way, ETH is, that somebody could grab hold. And you've seen Solana absolutely ripping. Guys, if you are in this market for any amount of time, you will realize one thing and one thing only. It's not like this morning when there was that quick dump. It's not like everybody sat down, right? 9:30 and everybody said, okay, the market, the market is open. The stock market's open. Boom. Let's dump whatever bags we have. And everybody all just magically dumped a whole bunch of ETH at the same time. Everybody just magically dumped a bunch of Bitcoin at the same time. It's not how it works. They have bots trading these things. They have people that talk, just like Miguel and I have a phone conversation. These bigwigs have phone conversations. Why is that weird, right? Billionaires talk to billionaires. They say that millionaires and billionaires are very lonely. Why is that? Because a lot of what they do and say is not the norm for other people that aren't millionaires and billionaires. You know what I mean? Hey, I'll be right back. I got to jump on my jet. I'm eating brunch today out in Cali at my favorite spot, but I'll be back this afternoon. What? Right? And so they say that they are lonely because of that. And I guess all that I'm getting at is that they
are always talking business. They are never just chilling, eating nachos, getting fat, and not talking business. Wherever they're sitting down, whoever they're meeting with, whoever they're hanging out with, doesn't matter if they're watching football, basketball, the Super Bowl is on, doesn't matter what is happening and what they're doing like a normal person. in that circle, they are talking business.
Yep. Hey, click back over here. Institutional money is coming. O'Leary claims that cryptocurrencies are not considered an institutional asset just yet. Side note, yes, they are. This is the point where he's helping his billionaire friends suppress and hold down because of how well known it is to be able to continue to buy at lower prices. The business mogul is convinced that the leading cryptocurrency will eventually acquire this status. Yes, it will. And actually, a number of assets already have. However, he says there needs to be, here is an absolutely popular item, regulatory clarity, highlighting the importance of compliance. I don't want to get involved in crypto if the regulator says it's not okay. I can't afford to be offside. I can't afford to be non-compliant. Guys, check it out. All right. This kind of sums up the whole day, right? This is all about being able to actually read between the lines, right? These articles are written with a purpose. We live in the information age, or better yet, we live in the disinformation age, right?
100%.
And so I was talking to Miguel about this the other day, and he corrected me and said, "Wait a minute." So I can give Miguel credit for that. He said, "We don't live in the information age; we live in the disinformation age." And here's the deal: if you don't think that what we hear on a regular basis is propaganda, you are kidding yourself. And so you have to be able to read something from CNBC, for example. They are one of the biggest offenders. Yes, I know. I was in a CNBC news article recently. That's not the point. But the reality is you have to be able to read through the lines. You have to understand that Kevin O'Leary is a very powerful figure that people look to for advice. You have to understand that at the end of the day, this is about one thing, well, two things: money and power. Take your pick. They want them both.
100%. Exactly right. What was his last statement? I cannot afford to be non-compliant. He can't have any pressure, right? He has tons of pressure on him to stay the course, stay within these bounds that we've given you and you've been successful in. Don't walk out of them, because if you do, we're gonna crush you because you're no longer one of us. Yep. And that's exactly what happens.
Yeah, if you think that conversation doesn't happen, you are crazy.
Exactly. I want to answer a question from Martin here. It says, do we still think Bitcoin can hit Ethereum can hit 6K plus this year? I 100% believe that that can happen. I do believe it requires the markets to stabilize and start pushing. So once we start seeing Bitcoin having a recovery, it could definitely happen. And I think, honestly, even Ethereum could be the leader of this blow off top. I think we've seen it earlier this year in that March, April time. We saw it earlier at the beginning of August when this next push happened. ETH was the one leading the way, and I think it can happen again. And and that's why we're seeing so much suppression on ETH, right? So much FUD articles on ETH being questioned, so that ETH doesn't have that pop off and lead Bitcoin into its next all-time high.
Let me say something about that. You guys all know ETH. That's my girlfriend. I love ETH, right? And so here's the thing. Too many people have such a short-sighted view on the market, okay? Unless you are a day trader like our boy CVO Crypto that I see in the chat there, unless you are actively trading, which, by the way, 6K all day, ladies and gents, that's right. And my man here knows his charts, right? Unless you are actively trading like he is, why are you absolutely stressed out by a daily move, right? Because the facts are, long term, what has crypto done for people so far? It has won. If you invested before this year, you are up. If you invested before the year before, you are up. If you invested the year before that, you are up. At no point, if you are holding long term, is in anyone, unless they are just literally accidentally bought the top. You know what I'm saying?
Even the people that did the worst possible thing, by the top of the last run, are now making money.
Are significantly up.
Yes. If they bought the top and just held on, had patience, and understood what they were buying, and kept dollar cost averaging, they are significantly up. And even if they didn't dollar cost average, they just bought that one time, held, forgot about it, let it go, and came back, they are up. Everybody that makes the biggest mistake of buying a local top, if you wait long enough with Bitcoin, you will be making money.
Hey, do me a favor. Pull up CVO Crypto's last one that says screenshot here. I want to pull this up for one reason, CVO, because guess what, brother? You are in YouTube land now, my brother, and it is on the video. So we're gonna pull this one back up if you're wrong. No, I'm just kidding. Hey, listen,
If you're wrong, we're gonna toast you, bro.
That's right. We are gonna roast you. We're gonna have a special edition. It's gonna be CVO Crypto, always wrong, starring. You know what I mean? And we're just gonna roast you. But no, listen, I hope that 13K number where you said top sell everything, oh my gosh, my bags would be absolutely ripping, right? And I do believe long term, we've got a long way to go, And so, guys, listen, at the end of the day, we love you guys. We appreciate you for being here. And until next time, hodl like it's